For the love of humanity, we are not giving you any financial or investment advice. This is purely for educational reasons.
Yes, educational purposes, especially as it relates to the political environment that we're in right now. I really think that a spotlight needs to be shined more on technological advances, specifically blockchain technology. I know there's a lot of heated debate right now surrounding cryptocurrency and, is it just another passing fad or what have you, but blockchain technology is what they used to create cryptocurrency. So blockchain technology specifically is something that I really want to talk about today and continue to talk about and have conversations about, because there's just a lot of benefits to society with having this technology around, and I really feel that it's going to be huge for future.
For sure. So our topic today is going to be blockchain, cryptocurrencies, different ways that you can use it. Blockchain itself is actually very interesting. It's very difficult to explain what it is. Essentially, how we can describe it is, by example, Facebook has a room full of servers, and they collect all your information on there. So if someone wanted to get that information for nefarious reasons or other, they could hack into these servers. Blockchain takes all that information and distributes it amongst all the computers and all of the information, basically like cloud, think cloud. So what they're doing with cryptocurrencies now is they're basically creating a ledger of transactions. So when I give...
that the payer and receiver both have access to, I believe.
Exactly. So basically, if I send Lindsay a Bitcoin, she will have... There's a digital ledger that's kept when you make that transaction, so that it's stored not only on...
call it a digital timestamp.
Yeah, it's not only stored on my end, but it's also stored on her end, and anybody else that's trading and doing anything with this information through blockchain, it's being stored on vast amounts of computers and servers. So that way, it's a lot harder to hack this information. So that's a really great tool, and that's why they're using it as unregulated cryptocurrencies, decentralized cryptocurrencies. So essentially what they've done is they use this algorithm that is blockchain to create this program that reads the ledger.
And then the blocks talk to each other is what I was reading too. So like, let's say there's 1, 2, 3 blocks. The second block talks to the first block and the third block. I know that's kind of confusing, but that's how it's able to maintain its integrity. And the information that's stored on there cannot be tampered with, and that is why this is huge for society, especially right now in the whole, like I said earlier, political environment, but also like this mass sharing of fake news, and people after a while are going to be out of touch with reality and what actually is reality because of that, because of the way our information is shared right now. So with the introduction of blockchain technology, that's going to help prevent and solve those issues.
Yes, because it can hold the facts within its algorithm, within its brain. It can distribute the facts across a vast information network, and then that way you're not, I don't know how to say it. You don't have to worry about so much as hacking,
it's not
because
going to be tampered with.
Yeah, it's a lot harder to deal with. So this basically, blockchain is the technology behind cryptocurrencies. And cryptocurrency, like you're thinking, okay, well, it's just digital coins. There's no physical thing to it. How does it have value?
It removes the middleman.
Well,
so you're not dealing with banks.
If I pull $1 out of my wallet, what gives that dollar value? It's just a piece of paper. Okay, so basically the government is saying, we're going to back this dollar. This is us. We're going to regulate it. We're going to stabilize it. We're going to tell you that the value of this piece of paper is worth $1, and that's what it's worth. But the economy shifts and different things, and then that dollar value changes depending on, all kinds of different factors. So $1 today versus $1 in 1940, vastly different values. So with blockchain technology and the cryptocurrency that's coming out of it, the people are giving it the value instead of the governments. So obviously the government doesn't want this. They don't want anyone to use money that isn't theirs. So that's kind of why Bitcoin is very popular right now.
A lot of people are bringing, and I don't know if you could speak to this or not, but a lot of people that are, of course, coming from the dystopian view of, oh, well, our economy will collapse because we're based off of the dollar. And if everyone's putting their money in cryptocurrency, then it's going, the banks are going to need to, fail and be bailed out like they were a couple years ago or whatever.
There are arguments to be made on both ends, whether or not we should continue to value the dollar as it is.
They're just scared of change. There's always going to be people out there that are scared of change, but You know, are we doing a great job right now? And when I say we, I just mean in terms of, I don't like to just shift blame in one area. Like, yeah, I do feel that politics, by and large, are super corrupt. So do we just continue doing the things the same way that we are, or should we look to technology to bring integrity back into society?
Absolutely, and I think
It's
the value of Bitcoin is that the people are the ones regulating it. The more we invest in it, the more that we put into it, the more value it has. So I mean, we've seen, you know, and people are like, they're looking at it as if it's an investment. It's not necessarily an investment. It's a gamble, really. You don't know if it's going to go up. It could be worth nothing two years from now.
Just like stocks.
Just like stocks, just like anything else, just like the dollar. So if you think about
I don't
Bitcoin,
think cryptocurrency is going anywhere.
if anything, in my opinion, I think cryptocurrency is definitely going to build. But the problem is, right now there are about 1,500 different cryptocurrencies. So which ones do you buy? Which ones do you get into? Bitcoin is obviously the most popular and the most valuable. And there are different companies, you know, like Ethereum,
I don't know if I would say Bitcoin is the most valuable, like, you know, that's going to fluctuate all the time.
Well, it's been around the longest. It's been around for like 10 years, and it was steady for about 8 years.
It's always going to fluctuate,
and
just
then
like
blew up.
just like the stock market. I mean, if you think about when the stock market crashes or when the economy crashes, everyone's losing all that money at that time, and what goes up must come down, as we know. Like, I'm not going to sit here and talk like I'm an expert on investing and all this stuff, but
we are not giving you investment advice.
we're just talking about the potential benefits to society as it relates to all of this, and just to kind of switch gears back to blockchain technology, since that's something I'm, you know, more passionate about than even cryptocurrency. But and just as one major example, think about the voting system.
Absolutely.
Like, blockchain could like fix all that, you know, in terms of the integrity of your vote.
Yeah, because that information, when you put it into the blockchain algorithm, it's storing it across vast numbers of servers, if you will, and then that way it's
blocks.
Folks don't know what blocks is, like blocks.
Yeah,
are.
but it's not really a server, right? So I don't want to like say that.
But the idea of a server is basically a device that holds information.
It's digital.
So this is basically just
You're
that,
calling
but
it a
it's
ledger, like a distribution.
yeah, it's a ledger basically. So you're distributing this ledger, and it's a lot more difficult to access, a lot more difficult to hack. So yeah, voting would be a huge thing. It's going to be way more secure. And then also think about it like this: hospital records, right?
That's huge right now.
The B&B, like think about all these organizations and companies that we have that are storing massive amounts of data across the country, and it's very difficult to share that information. So say you move from Kentucky to California, all right, and this one hospital is storing all of your information. All right, so then if you have trouble in California and they got to go back and get all this information, it's going to take time for them to transfer that. With blockchain technology, all of your information can be utilized through the blockchain algorithm, and that way it's accessible no matter where you are. It's going to be easy to pick up from.
It's time-stamped. It's, you know, like I said earlier, like time-stamped and fact-checked to where anybody can fact-check it and not tamper with it.
If you get into a car accident, an EMT comes to you, they'll be able to access this information and pull up all of your medical history through blockchain technology, no matter where you are.
And it's secure.
So it's a huge opportunity to move forward. And you know, the central banking system around the globe, like, you have to think about how it's all regulated. The governments right now are trying to figure out how to regulate cryptocurrencies, which we don't want. I mean, the whole idea behind...
sorry not to interrupt, but like, this is going to be a huge fight. Like, if we don't step up and really push for this, and we just let them, you know, battle us on it, just like they're battling marijuana regulation, legalization, you know, just like they're battling electric vehicles because of our huge dependence on oil. Like, if we don't start to battle these things, like I said, we're going to continue down the path that we're going, and we're never going to see true change in the citizens' favor.
What do you know about universal income? Do you have any knowledge on this?
Can you explain that?
So one of the, I forget what country it is, some Scandinavian country's testing it out. So basically, everyone gets a base pay. Everyone, no matter who you are, whether you're poor, rich, whether you work or not, you're healthy or whatever, everyone gets, say, $1,200 a month. and that's paid for by
Isn't
taxes,
that
obviously.
like communism or socialism?
Yeah, I mean, it could be considered something like that, but you have to realize that eventually there's not going to be any need for us to work. With technology, and that's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. You know, people are very afraid. They're like, oh, I'm going to lose my job to robots.
That's good though.
That's a good thing, because then you can take your life and stop doing
something you're actually passionate about.
stop doing sacrifice work and doing something that you're actually
think
passionate
about it
about.
in some of the other countries too, where they get a month of vacation per year at minimum.
Right. So then, if you're looking at it like this, and you're thinking, okay, well, if everyone has a universal income, say everyone has X amount of Bitcoin. All right, whatever it is, you got this amount of Bitcoin, you're going to get it every month, and that's how you're going to pay for goods. You can absolutely work and make more Bitcoin if you want, or you can do something you're passionate about and do art or music or whatever it is, and you know that you have that
all
stable...
the things that we complain about and or try to pursue as, this is my passion and this is what I want to go after, but maybe you can't make a lot of money doing that passion or that hobby. Well, now if you have, like you said, this universal income, you can.
Right, so if you take the government and the regulation out of it, and everyone on the planet, all the people invested in Bitcoin, that would hold its value, and then you can distribute it. Every person gets, equal amount. This is what it is. I mean, that's the trick though. Someone has to be distributing it. So that's, it's a tricky topic, but that's something that, maybe not our generation is going to have to deal with, but a few generations down the line, technology is going to get to a point where everything is automated. We're not going to have those sacrifice zones in our country where people are slaving in factories, and
factory
it's not going to happen.
That literally aren't allowed to step off the line and even use the bathroom. Like,
so
robots can do that.
Yeah, so there are countries that are, testing out the universal income to see like how it works and this kind of thing. But it's a very fascinating turning point
people
in our.
Can just open their mind to the idea, and because when people hear that, they're automatically going to be like communism, socialism, this, that, and the other. But really, you just need to open your mind and think about the possibilities with that.
See, the thing is,
quality of life.
Yeah, and the thing about communism, socialism, and all this is that no matter what political ideology you're looking at, there's a leader behind it, right? Someone is on top, and that's where corruption comes in. So like the concept of socialism and communism in and of itself is not inherently evil. It's just an ideology. Okay, so when you have the person on top that's saying, okay, everybody, we're going to distribute this, but I want a little more. So I'm going to start taking away from the people and give it to me. That's the problem with cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin and blockchain technology.
Not even necessarily them, meaning them themselves, but this group that they're representing, which is, of course, always
your
the
government.
1% or the top.
Yeah, whoever is on top, the fat cats, if you will. So then you're looking at cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology, and all of this is controlled by the people. We're putting the value into it ourselves. There's no one person or a group of people that's saying, oh, we're going to control it. And that's exactly why the governments in all these different countries are wanting to figure out a way to regulate Bitcoin and blockchain technology, because if they don't, they have no control over it. It's the people that put the value into the technology. So it's a very fascinating thing, and that's why everybody, like, when I talk to people about Bitcoin, it's like, oh man, yeah, I could buy X amount of Bitcoin and make this much if I hold on to it and this and that, and I'm like, yeah, but you're completely missing the immaculate opportunity behind the technology that is Bitcoin. Like, yeah, cryptocurrency is very cool and it's a neat thing, but it's not an investment, it's a gamble.
Not just about that.
You're looking at this and saying, okay, well, I can make this amount of money, but there's nothing backing it up. The only thing that puts value into it is us, so, and it's unregulated, so it's very volatile. They have cryptocurrency, they have literal companies that you get together with like 50 people and say, all right, us 50 people, we're all going to buy this cryptocurrency. And then in the next 3 hours, we're going to start promoting that the value has gone up. Okay, so that's how stock markets work. And this is illegal in the stock market because it's regulated. They're basically they're going to pump and dump coins. This is the coin we're going to invest in the next 3 hours. Everybody put all your money into this one coin. And then they say, hey, look at how much the value of this coin has gone up. So then they get everybody else to buy into it.
Manipulation, right?
And then they sell it because they've driven the value up, and then they sell it within like 6 hours. Okay, so that in the stock market is illegal, and that's where the regulation comes in. Like, that's a good thing. it's not regulated in Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency. So that's one of the things is like why I'm saying it's not an investment, it's a gamble. When you're putting money into something like that, especially when it's unregulated, it's a gamble. But we want to talk about it in a way, and like we were talking about earlier, like we want to look at it from the technological standpoint and what the technology itself is capable of. It's literally just an algorithm that can store and spread data. Any data. It doesn't, like we're using it now and it got popular through cryptocurrencies.
Yeah.
It can be used for so many different things.
But beyond the whole voter records, which I think is huge, is also, how does information get communicated and spread through the news? So that's huge right now, because if you think about like the monopolies in mass media right now, they need to be taken down. You know, they need to be held accountable. There needs to be integrity there. And if you think about it too, like who controls the media in a way?
The fat cats.
Politicians.
Down with the media.
Politics.
Down with the man.
They want to make sure that the information that they want to be communicated, that they're in control of that. So this is a huge, what's the word I'm looking for? A huge risk for them, or a huge, detriment to them. So that's why I said earlier, like, we need to be prepared to fight this. And there is actually, and the name escapes me, but I know I posted it on my Facebook.
We'll share it on the page.
Ago, but there is a media platform out there right now that is going to be, pretty sure, utilizing blockchain technology. And it's going to be there's going to be, users that can independent journalists, users can submit, their sources of information, articles, or what have you, and that's obviously how blockchain works. So that's going to be huge. I mean, it's going to bring integrity back to media and journalism.
Absolutely, and I think as far as education goes, like I think one of the biggest things we should be teaching the youth of our nation is how to be good journalists, because I went to school for media production, communication, advertising, marketing, all that stuff. So I took journalism classes, and the biggest thing they teach you is to be able to cite sources and to be able to validate the information you're putting out there. And nowadays, journalism is very in a place where you don't necessarily have to do that. People aren't reading, they're just reading headlines. They aren't reading articles, they're not going to do the research, they're not clicking the cited sources and validating the information they're reading.
Yeah, I call people out on it all the time, and I'm not going to say I haven't been guilty of it in the past, but more and more now when I share stuff, I think twice about the source, and if I'm really not 100% certain on the truth of it, then I won't share it.
Absolutely.
I'm just, I've gotten better at that, but it really takes people being intentional on that. And when I see, like, wild headlines, clickbait headlines shared by someone, I will comment on there and be like, did you fact check this? Like, do you trust this source that you're sharing from? Or are you just blindly reposting it because it supports your confirmation bias?
Yeah, and there's actually a psychological thing going on there, and when you correct people, say someone posts something that is inaccurate but they believe it, and you share the information that is factual, that contradicts what they're posting, that actually reaffirms their bias. Like you said, it only gets them deeper into their belief system. So the thing that we need to do to be able to beat that is to teach people individually, teach them on their own to fact check themselves. Because we can fact check each other all day, and it's just going to politicize every topic. People are going to be like, oh, well, you're just this, that, and the other thing. And that's not good. That only creates more divisiveness. So being able to teach each other and educating on how to research and how to find factual sources, citing sources, and all these different things, like that's what's going to take us from this huge polarizing argument and bring us back together into having real conversations. And
it's called Civil, by the way.
Civil is the media, new media using blockchain technology.
Civil is building a newsroom platform using blockchain technology and crypto economics to create an open marketplace for journalists and citizens. This is freaking awesome.
So I would like to, going more into entrepreneurial endeavors, to build Bitcoin, basically it takes a huge graphics card. There's a lot of power that you need to build the technology. So essentially how it works is you're building, I mean, you can build them pretty cheap. The most expensive part of building a farming machine is the graphics card, and those can go up to like $700 to $800 for a really good graphics card. What I would like to do is open an arcade, and this is if anyone wants to do this, by all means, it's just an idea I had. Open an arcade, and then
one of his many ideas.
Within each of the arcade booths, you know, you have the big cabinets with the games in them. You're gonna build inside that booth a farming machine. So say you got 12 different arcade games, and each one is gonna have a computer that's basically farming and creating Bitcoin.
Like, is that the same thing as mining?
Yes. Yeah. So you're essentially mining basically the computer within your cabinet. They're gonna run all day because you're running these cabinets all day long. They're gonna take up
from
power.
From what I've been told, mining Bitcoin is even more valuable and more. I don't even know the word, but
it is
more valuable than just buying Bitcoin.
It's very difficult to do. It's time consuming. It takes a lot of time and a lot of power.
Yeah.
And it's not wildly difficult to do, but it's very power. Like there's a lot of power consumption. So how do you offset the cost and power consumption? Start an arcade, okay? So then you come in, and this is my whole idea behind this arcade is to get people comfortable with utilizing Bitcoin. So to play the games, you utilize Bitcoin. You'll get like a digital card, and you stick it in the machine, and then it takes Bitcoin off, and you can convert and all that within my shop. So you come in, or your shop if you want to open this place. You know, you come in, and the pricing is on there. You give me $20, I give you $20 worth of Bitcoin.
If there's anything out there like that.
Not that I've seen. I've been researching, and like,
Googled it. Bitcoin
yeah,
arcade.
my whole concept behind this is to get people comfortable with using Bitcoin and understanding the technology and having fun doing it. So you go to this arcade, you give me $20, I give you $20 worth of Bitcoin, and then you go to the arcades with your card, just like Dave & Buster's, but instead of using the American dollar and Dave & Buster's points, whatever, you're using Bitcoin and cryptocurrency technology. So that way, it's an opportunity to learn about what cryptocurrency is, how it's made, and then each of those games, as you're putting into it, you're investing in that technology. Okay, so say you go in and you buy $20 worth of Bitcoin, you only use $10 worth it on the arcade. Well, then there you go. You got $10 worth of Bitcoin. You can come back to the arcade anytime and play games if you want, or you can just hold on to it, and it might go up in value. So think about it. 2 days from now, the price goes up, and then you go from $10 of Bitcoin to $11 worth of Bitcoin, and then you're like, man, that's awesome. I just got 2 free games on the arcade. Whatever it is, but the concept behind this business is not only farming and mining the Bitcoin itself, which is going to be profitable, but also you're utilizing this opportunity to educate people about the cryptocurrencies and this, that, and the other thing. And the best part about it is like you're bringing in the fun aspect. You want to be. It's a very boring topic. Technology is difficult. You're sitting there and understanding how blocks work and how it's distributed and how it's secure and this, that, and the other thing. The average consumer doesn't need to know all that. They don't.
There is one out.
Oh, nice! There's a Bitcoin arcade. Where's it at? Let's go.
Figure out. Arcadia's owner. I think it's New Zealand.
New Zealand. So if you're next time you're in New Zealand,
Gamers
go to
can
this
now
place.
play with Bitcoin using a mobile QR code. It's an innovative solution which taps into the demographic that arcades should be targeting if they're to survive, tech-savvy teens.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's brilliant technology. And then adding in on top of that, not only the usage of Bitcoin, but utilizing the consumption power of a commercial business to be able to then mine Bitcoin as well. You're going to profit from that as well.
Here, let me read this. Bitcoin is getting more and more attention, and more people are learning about it and pushing it into it, which pushes its value up even more. We think that eventually everyone will be using it to pay for everything. After paying in Bitcoin at the till, players are issued with tokens which they can use to put the racing games, pinball machines, and shoot 'em ups through their paces. As token use cases go, this one is certainly compelling. A true utility token, if ever there was one.
When you go to Chuck E. Cheese and get those tokens are valueless. They only have value at Chuck E. Cheese. By doing this arcade style with Bitcoin, you're encouraging people to get involved in cryptocurrencies and learning about it and then utilizing it elsewhere. And it's not difficult to get Bitcoin. If you download Cash App right now, you can buy Bitcoin and you can utilize Bitcoin just like Apple Pay. All right, so think about it like if you're Square, Square, the credit card
Apple
device.
Pay, yeah, I actually been saying the last few days that I need to set up Apple Pay.
Yeah, so you have Square, and they're the ones that have this mobile app called Cash App, and it's just digital. So I love it because I don't carry a wallet around. I don't have to carry cash all the time. I use it.
I need to use it because I got scammed pretty much twice last year, and even I didn't tell you this, but the other night, I guess I left my debit card at Park Place. And funny enough, I left my debit card at a bar, and apparently they gave it back to someone that has the same first name as me. That's pretty scary. I mean, this person contacted me through Facebook and was like, hey, I have your debit card, and it turns out that we have mutual friends, so it's not a big deal. But after doing that, like, now I'm like even more like, I need to set up Apple Pay. I don't want to have to use my debit card anywhere. I got scammed at a gas station last December. They emptied my bank account on Christmas Day. So for security purposes, it's even more important.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was using Cash App for purchases. It works just like Apple Pay, and you can buy Bitcoin through this app. And it's all backed by Square. Square is a very popular app for merchants, so it's it's something that you can trust. But essentially, I could go on there and say I have $200 in my Cash App, which is 200 US American dollars. I can buy Bitcoin with that, and then I can go to the gas station and buy stuff with Bitcoin instead of American dollars. So then the value of that, could fluctuate. You could lose money. You could absolutely lose money. Bitcoin could be worth nothing tomorrow. This is not an investment. This is a gamble. Or you can make money from it. But the technology there is amazing because instead of me having to worry about holding on to a card, and my card never works. My bank issue card, if there's a chip works no problem. It's safe and secure. If I have to swipe the card, that magnet strip is worthless because I keep it in my wallet. It's rubbing on stuff and it never works, and it's a pain in the butt. I could walk up to the gas pump and hold my phone next to the pump, and it looks into my eyes and says, "This is who you are. I know this." And then
Wait,
I have.
You can do this right now?
Yeah, I can do this right now. I do it all the time. I literally am using this. It's just like Apple Pay.
You don't need an iPhone X to do that, right?
No, I mean almost every phone has this. All iPhones have Apple Pay, and then Samsung, and they all have like these digital payout basically.
I didn't know this. That's good to know.
Yeah, if I walk over to the gas station, pick up chips or snacks or whatever it is, I just hold my phone up to the reader and it scans my eyes and it validates who I am, and it goes right out of my Cash App. So I'm not using a bank account. I'm not using US American dollars. It's just digital currency on my app. And all I do is pump my cash.
So right
into
now
it.
it's your phone, and then in the future it's going to be a chip implanted in your body.
Which I am definitely
thanks.
cool with. What episode did we talk about technology? Episode 2. Go check out episode 2. We talk about chip implants, the technology behind it. All right, so think about that. We're going to go back to the RFID chips. If you incorporate blockchain technology into the chip technology, you basically get an implant, or you can put it into a ring or whatever it is, a watch, Apple Watch, whatever. So you're carrying this technology around on your wrist. It's safe and secure, and you don't have to carry anything else. You don't have to carry your license. You don't have to carry your insurance information. You don't have to carry any of your medical records or your social or your birth certificate or any credit cards or anything. Everything
and it's encrypted
you could possibly need is right there
secure. I mean,
in this little
not
chip.
That,
it's
but I'm
in
talking
your
about
hand.
blockchain in general.
Put blockchain technology in the RFID chip. That's what I'm saying.
That's
because
probably what the future is.
that is the future. It's the future. It's the mark of the beast. Down with the men and the government and the media, and it's just the people and chips.
As long as if the chip is not controlled by the government and it's controlled by us and utilizing blockchain technology, then I might not. I might be open to it.
And that's why we need to have these conversations so that people are understanding of what blockchain technology is, what it does. It's literally just a super powerful algorithm that crunches numbers and distributes data in the basic form. It's so much more complicated than that, but that is at its best. That's what it is. It's just a really great mathematical algorithm that distributes information. It's fantastic. So there's a lot of different ways to use it. Like I said, do some research. This is just kind of a generic.
Here's an idea that popped into my head: a social media platform based on blockchain technology.
Okay. Send it to R&D. This is copyright right here today. This is our idea. We're gonna be the next big Facebook, but it's all based on blockchain.
Think about what's going on right now. Have you heard about this
Yeah,
shit with
Facebook
Facebook?
is going
the
like
privacy issue.
Yeah. So
And
okay.
people are talking about. I mean, I honestly, I feel like it's just another. I don't want to say passing fad per se, but a passing, situation where people are now revolting against Facebook for what they did, but they have so many freaking users that
all of that information is vulnerable.
But utilizing blockchain for a platform would, with the solutions of removing spammers, scammers, phishers, onto something there.
We're onto something.
We're onto something. We need to find
Trademark,
some developers
copyright.
now.
Well, this episode is going to be a little short. We don't,
we have a couple of announcements though.
We do have some announcements, but it's going to rain here shortly, so we don't want to be stuck out here. We got stuff to do today. We're doing a volunteer photo and video shoot for Social Media Day coming up. We're getting everybody together. We're going to start talking about why we're going to Social Media Day, how cool it is, what it's
going to bring to Jacksonville. It's going to put Jacksonville on the map. It's going to be really cool to get a whole bunch of industry leaders as it relates to marketing, content creation, entrepreneurs, small business owners that want to utilize social media to leverage their business. And we've got national speakers coming. We've mentioned it on a couple of the other past episodes. We're going to keep talking about it. It's Social Media Day 2018 coming on June 29th and June 30th. I will probably, record some video, on our stories, our Instagram stories for when everybody shows up here later.
For sure.
And of course, on the day of the event, we'll be there. Anything else you want to add on that?
As far as Social Media Day goes, no, you're going to be seeing a lot of small business entrepreneurs, people who are utilizing social media on the daily. They're going to be talking about why Social Media Day is important and what you're going to learn and why they're going. So that's a great thing to look out for. You'll be seeing that through not only our podcast page, but also on Social Media Day, Jacksonville, Facebook, Instagram. Find all that stuff. It's going to be really cool opportunity just to get to know some of the local entrepreneurs and businesses that are involved in Social Media Day.
Huge networking
as volunteers. And then we want you to come, obviously, because it's going to be a really rad event. It's going to be very...
students also, by the way.
Yeah, there's student discounts and all kinds of stuff like that as well.
Yeah, it's going to be at the UNF campus. They're sponsoring it as well. If you are a communications marketing student, this event is for you, trust me.
For sure.
And there is student discounts leading all the way up to the event.
Not to mention, we're going to be there. So, you want to be there.
Promoting our podcast, promoting, Michael has his suit business, promoting my personal brand. I mean, anything that you're promoting can be promoted on social media.
It's going to be a good, great networking event, great utilization of social media, how to utilize it. And also, we're going to have some swag there. So if you want some cool stuff with our podcast name on it.
We're going to start making some products, mainly shirts, maybe some koozies, this or that. For our podcast.
What kind of stuff do you want? You want a mug, like a coffee mug that says "For the Love of Humanity" on it? Because we can make that happen. Let us know what kind of swag you want with our name on it, and we'll get it. We'll hand it out Social Media Day. Also, Kitchen Independent, we talked about in a couple episodes prior to this. We're going to kick off the Church of Brunch series on Easter Sunday. So I know this is only, if you watch this episode right away, then you might know about it. But if you watch it later, I'm sorry you missed it. But every other Sunday, find us on Facebook, you'll see our events. But we're going to kick it off.
It's going to be kind of a test run because we know that a lot of people aren't going to be able to make it because they're going to be with their families and whatnot. But just specifically, Michael and I, our families are not here. So
they're in some other part of the country doing whatever they do.
So for the people that don't have families to spend Easter with, we're gonna do our first Church of Brunch.
Let us be your family.
Official launch for Kitchen Independent, and we're gonna do an adult Easter egg hunt.
Adult Easter egg hunt. I have a cool backyard, as you saw in some of our behind the scenes photos and videos a couple weeks ago. But yeah, so we're gonna do brunch next Sunday. Service starts at 10:30. Come out, bring some friends, bring food or beverage or whatever have you, and we're gonna have an Easter egg hunt. Should be a fun time. So if you can come out to that, Kitchen Independent is hosting that one for us. Social Media Day.
And then lastly, one other big event coming up. It's called One Spark. If you're local here, I'm sure you know about it. I think it's a 2-day event as well, and it's just where creators, innovators, entrepreneurs come together. There's contestants, of course, and they're either startups or it's a concept that they have that they want to see become a reality. So they enter into this contest, and then there's a prize at the end, of course, to help them
It's like
bring it to reality.
a convention, a pop-up shop,
It's all outdoors.
Shark
it's in
Tank.
downtown Jacksonville.
It's gonna be huge. This is like the third year.
Third
I
or
wanna say.
fourth year, yeah.
It's gonna be a
here in
huge event,
Jacksonville.
and we're gonna be at One Spark as well, and we're gonna be doing some video there. So if you guys are gonna be at One Spark as a business entrepreneur or whatever, let us know. We'll come to your booth and we'll do a little interview with you for the podcast. And we're gonna be doing some on the street style interviews as well.
Just live interviews.
You know, connect with some. This is a great, huge event, networking wise, to just learn about local businesses and upstarting businesses. Like that's what we're all about. We want to help
creators,
entrepreneurs,
innovators,
small businesses, and really boost them up. So this will be a cool event to come out to, just to check out all of the amazing talent in Jacksonville, Florida. And if you're watching from outside of Jacksonville, Florida, then be here. Like, come on, just move here already. Jacksonville's awesome.
So we got Church of Brunch, we got Social Media Day, we've got One Spark. I'm sure there'll be plenty of other cool things that we're gonna, talk about in future episodes and promote. And we hope to see you out there.
For sure. Thanks for watching. If you have a topic that you want us to talk about or that you want to talk to us about, let us know. Drop a comment,
This is
share,
episode
like.
6, right?
This is episode 6.
Yes.
All right. Share, subscribe. We're on SoundCloud and iTunes. I'm sure you know that because you're probably listening to it on one of those mediums. If you're watching the video on Facebook, that's awesome. Share it. The little button's like, if I'm here, there's a share button like in this area, right there.
Yeah.
That's typically where the share button is. So hit that, hit this like button over here, comment below, let us know what you want to talk about. And thanks for watching The Love of Humanity. I'm Michael Armano.
I'm Lindsey Tig.
See you next time.